Yes, Tarika, I know. What day is it? It is Saturday. I've corrected it. It no longer says Sunday. That was because I adjusted it. But again, thank you for coming in. I hope you all are doing really well. I have to do some minor adjustments. Um, I didn't get everything up and running yet. I'm changing. Oops, sorry, don't want to play that. Thank you for coming up. I appreciate you guys being here today. Of course, you know that I'm going to have these folks here. We got Eric and Paula. Good morning, Eric and Paula. How are you?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hope you all are doing well. Thank you guys for letting me skip last week. My shoulder was unpleasant to say the least. So I appreciate you guys' understanding on me having to kind of skip the stream. It's still really sore. I put heat on it just a little while ago. Don't worry, I still have my eyesight. But yeah, I'm good. So I appreciate you guys. Thank you. So Paula, how are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. Trying to stay awake. I woke up too early this morning and
What time did you wake up?
like 3.
That's an hour early. I was
That's
going
a
to
little
say.
early, yeah.
Yeah.
What about you, Eric? How you been?
Doing great. Doing great. Trying to get things done. Been editing copper coins for the last couple days, adding photos and stuff like that. Besides that, same old, same old. Watching it rain every day. We've been getting tons and tons and tons of rain.
We have too. It's actually been very nice. We are in a significant drought, so
We
we need the
were,
weather bad.
we are, just for the month of August, we were nearly
Sorry.
30 inches over. And for the year, we're like 70 inches over now.
Oh, that's really good. Yeah, not us. We're struggling. Our weather we've been really dry and we are I think we were in stage 3 drought here, which is the next level is they tell you not to water your yard. Um, it's been pretty bad here. So we're down. I mean, we've got reservoirs that are dry. So we need some serious moisture, or we're not gonna fare well come September, October. It's just
When it
not.
gets dry. Yeah.
It's just not very good. I mean, and I get the fact that you're going to have it's just periodic cycles of this. I mean, good grief, we live in a
Yeah.
desert, you know. Um,
Yeah, you got a tropical wave headed towards you, I think, right now.
well, we've had a series. We've had a series of
Right.
events where we've had rain after rain after rain after rain.
Yeah, you've got low pressure that is like starting right there
Yeah,
in that little bend in the Gulf of Mexico.
it's been good for us. We definitely need a lot of rain. The problem is that it's it's sporadic. So it's we need like a general coating of rain instead of just a small little pocket in an isolated area.
Yeah,
Um,
we've been literally getting 3 to 4 inches every day in like an hour to hours or two time.
yeah, see, that's the kind of rain that we need. We're just not getting it. It's just not happening. It, but it's okay. I mean, it'll come with time, and we'll catch back up. My biggest issue is if we're going to continue to have this kind of drought, then we're going to have to be very careful because it's going to cause some issues. Um,
Oh, sure.
so, all right. Well, let me say the hellos. So let's see, Paula. I'm confused. Yes, I saw that.
Hello.
Yes. Um, so Paula, thank you for being here. Steve, good morning. JJ Addict, Dorica, Shift Kicker, Niels, AZ Coins, Dan McCumber, and good morning. How you doing, Dust Logic and Siren? Thank you all for being here. I do appreciate you. I'm expecting people are going to trickle in slow with the Sunday probably threw people off. Should have paid more attention when I changed that over, but it is what it is. All right. Well, we were talking about something earlier, and I wanted to pull this up. So Paula was enlightening us before the stream.
Not much, but
Well, it's okay. We can kind of dig into this. Um, and the gentleman is um, Frere Zerbe. Um, he was the American Numismatic Association president from 1908 to 1910. And one of his major contributions was to purchase and privately publish the Numismatist. Um, and so, if you guys follow the Numismatist, which is a really cool numismatic news article magazine, that was one of the major things. But she was talking about something called the Zerbe coin, and I'm going to go ahead and share this real quick. All right. Now this was something, and I know we haven't.
the S.
This
There's
is the yes.
also,
Yeah.
yeah.
Um, I think the story is kind of cool. So, Paula, do you want to just kind of go over a little bit about what you're wearing? Just again, we know that this is something that none of us are experts on this particular person, but just to be able to kind of look at it and see what's going on and
Well, so I will, let me put this, hang on a second. Let me put this in the, let me put this in the chat. So Russ Bega did a numismatalk on Zerbe and Mel, and I think it was called the Numismatic Circus. And he talks a lot about this coin, well, both of them, the 21 and the 21S, and how Zerbe basically he walked in. So he knew people. He knew people. And he was the type of person that literally could walk into the US Mint and say, "Hey, I need some of these coins struck." And they did. And these were two of the results of that. The 1921 and the 1921 S Zerbe strike coins. The 21 has, I think they said like 150 to 200 minted, and but the 21S was only like 25. Um, and I'm not sure how many. What did you say, Eric? How many
They
they
say
said?
5 exist, but they
Okay.
think that, and they think there could be 6 because they think that one had been regraded through PCGS,
Ah, okay.
so that there might only be 4 that are graded, and then the other one is like in a trust from
Okay.
the American Numismatic Society and Chase Bank, and it
Gotcha.
actually was the coin that Zerbe had in his own personal
In
collection.
his possession, yeah. He also had a lot to do with the $50 pan pack, the octagonal gold coin, the gold commemorative. But I encourage you to click on, like, I know I watched the when Russ did this talk, I watched it live while he was doing it, and now it's up for everyone to watch. And it's a fun little talk that he does, and he will, if you watch that, you will learn a lot more than what I'm trying to tell you right now, because I remember about 2 minutes of it.
Well, it's just
I
a great
don't.
topic.
It
I
was it
never,
was a really great topic,
yeah.
and I got so, it was one of those that I got so into the story of those two individuals that I like retained hardly anything about the coin itself or any of the coins that they talked about. It was more, I was really interested in the two gentlemen and the story about them. I'll have to go back and watch it again, but yeah, I put the link in the chat, so if you guys want to watch it. But it's pretty cool. That somebody can just like walk into the mint and have these coins struck. And the funny thing is that we actually get, much like the 64 SMS coins, we get questions about these in our email from uh, our LiveCoin Q&A email. Somebody will say, "Hey, I have this 1921 Morgan dollar, and I think it might be," and we're like, no.
Well, the 21S is actually pretty easy to diagnose. I saw Frosty hovering over the. There's actual markers for it, and he
There
was
are
hovering
for the
over 'em.
21 also.
Yeah,
So the thing about both of those is that they specially prepared the dies, but the planchets weren't. So they're not like proof coins or anything. They're more like SMS
yeah.
coins. So there are some like the markers on the dies themselves that identify them, but you know. So yeah, so watch it and please don't send us an email saying that you have one.
There's one right there. The die scratch right there on the S, and then over by the A, there's one.
Yeah, you can look on PCGS CoinFacts and it definitely has a distinctive appearance to it.
Yeah, and they were saying something about the stars being flattened and the denticles being
Hmm.
squared off instead of rounded off, or something like
Yeah,
that.
And I've thrown
yeah,
the PCGS coin facts for this particular one. Again, if you look at, and I know Paula and Eric, you won't see this on the StreamYard side, but if you look there between the E and the S, you'll see those scratches and then those vertical scratches or the diagonal scratches there encompassing the A. Those are two of them. And then again, the lettering is a little bit different,
And
just
the
slightly
denticles
different.
are very square if you go up to the denticles.
they are, and that goes along with the special die preparation. Um, But you can, I mean, if you just look at the general appearance, it has kind of a burnished look to it
Yeah, that, and they
almost.
say something about flattened stars.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's the obverse or the reverse stars, because there is the two stars on the reverse.
Yeah, probably these. Now, again, remember that when we're talking about the quality of these particular coins, we're talking about exceptional quality, right? You're not going to
Right.
find these in beat up circulated condition. I mean, um, these are going to be beautiful, beautiful strikes. So,
Yeah, the S Mint. Now the other ones, the just the 1921 plain, no mint mark, I guess is what they call them. I don't know. I think they were both struck in San Francisco, so I don't think that you could really call them Philadelphia, but just 1921. They there's always a possibility that a rogue one could have escaped and been spent at some point, you know what I mean? Or multiple of them, I suppose. But the odds that the S Mint ones made it out anywhere past the circulation is
Yeah, it's probably not happening because they do say that he took possession of the coins after they were struck.
yeah.
So whoever got them because he gave them to him
Hmm.
so they
or
said there were
sold them.
25 of these, but there's only 5 or 6 known. What happened to the other
There's
ones?
24 were minted. That's what they assumed. 24 were minted, and that 5 or 6, but they're assuming 5 because they think one has been graded twice.
I wonder if this is another die marker right here on that left wing.
You'd have to see all of them.
Yeah, no way to
Yeah,
know without seeing
yeah,
all of the examples. So
yeah. Very cool.
I'm sure that there are more markers listed than what PCGS has in the
Oh yeah,
description.
there's a die scratch on the L, the first L in dollar.
That's actually a good one.
Yeah,
If
that's
Yeah,
a
it's an
good one.
actual scratch.
yeah. So
It's
there's
got a mint mark, so I'm sure that that's pretty distinctive.
Yeah. Those are always the best markers in my
Hmm.
opinion, is mint mark location.
Yeah, you can see how beautiful these denticles are. Yeah, that's a cool. Anyway, I know we don't have a lot on this, but it was a fun discussion, and I thought I would share this with people because again, it's fun stuff. So I'll leave that one up
Yeah,
there in the
I
corner.
really encourage you guys to watch that video too because it's really interesting.
And the
There's
links are
some
there in
really,
chat. So I
yeah.
know for the people in the vertical stream, you won't be able to see that. Good morning, Otis and Scotty. How you doing? Um, I'll make sure that I put these in the description when I change the title and the description on this video. So they'll be they'll be there before the end of the stream.
I put it in the private chat for you, so
Yeah,
if
I've
you
already
want.
put them into both streams
Okay.
chats as well. So very cool. Yeah, it was just something that again we always have great discussions before the stream, and that was just something that I wanted to bring up. The other thing that I wanted to bring up, let me get this out of the way and make sure that I can pull this one up, is this coin. So you all should be familiar with this coin. This is the gold coin. Let me share this with you. All right,
It always reminds me of Carmel, California.
this one.
There's a, yeah, there's a tree just like that that grows right up from the rocks
Well,
in Carmel.
this is the coin that won Coin of the Year.
Yes, it did.
So I want to get people's thoughts in chat on this particular coin. I know we've had this discussion before, and this has been, uh, a month ago. I think it was on the 18th or something like that that this was released. But what are your thoughts about the design of Liberty as a tree?
I don't like it. I like the design. I like the tree. I don't like that it's supposed to depict liberty. I don't know why they stray from our. I don't know. We had a horse at one time, right? A horse and a like no rider, just a horse in a saddle. I don't know what that was, but
Well, the bucking bronco is I can understand again stretches. There's a lot of
Well, that's
nature-based themes that are
well,
coming
that and
in.
it's supposed to commemorate the gold rush, kind of, isn't it?
I don't know what it's supposed to do.
I don't
Everybody went
know.
out west on the
It's
horseback and
supposed to
to get
depict
rich.
liberty in some way.
Um, yeah, I don't like the tree liberty, and I actually don't see it that much in it. I see a tree.
Now, I will say that I do like this. I really like the eagle design on the
I
reverse.
love the eagle. Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah.
So I
Hmm.
think this is. I would love to see this on more coins. I think that is supposed to be. I think that would be good because it's a different style of depiction. Again, same thing. Eagle perched atop a rocky outcropping. That's standard ever since the 1794 silver dollar was done. But I just like the look of this eagle.
You know what stands out to me about this coin is they're making the die like they used to make the die. There's all sorts of relief
Hmm.
that is just not present on most modern coins. They want to flatten the images out so the dies have longer lives.
Yeah, I really
This
like
has got a lot of relief in it where it really looks beautiful. You can see three dimensions in it instead of it trying to show three dimensions through like carving scratches in it.
I mean, I understand them wanting to, give
Sure.
artistic license to the engravers and everything, but the when we have to wonder what they're I don't know.
I mean,
You know
like
what
the
I
center
mean, you know what I'm
nickel
trying to
design.
say? Like liberty is we look at most of our coins that have liberty, Lady Liberty on it and stuff, and we understand exactly what that means.
Right.
Right.
But when you look at the tree, like we have to try to figure out what they're trying to.
Well, I wouldn't have known that
I
it would
don't
have
know.
been a depiction of liberty unless you would have said something to me.
Yeah.
And a lot of all coins have liberty on them in this day and age,
Hmm.
without Lady Liberty being on it. So I would have just thought it was just a random coin. Like I say, I do like the way they made the dies, and that's because there's a limited amount, and of course you're paying, I don't know, $3,500 for the coin probably.
No, correct me if I'm wrong. This is literally, and I hate that word, but literally called our Liberty Commemorative series, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yes, yes,
So,
yeah.
but
It's
uh,
I
not.
would have
A
never
lot of
known.
people are like, well, it doesn't really represent liberty. It's supposed to represent a strong nation, and it's like I
well,
get that, but it's actually like it's supposed to be liberty. Liberty is
supposed to.
required by the Coin Act to be present on the coin. So this is somebody's representation of liberty. Now, don't get me wrong. I like the tree. It's a beautiful coin. I just don't understand where the goofy sunrise on the back of the
Oh,
Britannia and the America.
Maybe it's Tim Burton's Liberty.
Right.
maybe.
I
He always
just
had
don't
weird
get
things.
some of this.
Uh,
Because when you
Maybe.
I
look
mean,
at,
it could be because of the species or the what do you call it, species of tree or
that's a
whatever.
cypress, it's the lone cypress, and
It,
um,
it just comes. It just kind of grows out of nowhere on its own, and stands alone. So I don't know if I don't know. I mean, I'm sure somewhere there's a description of what the artist was trying to represent there, but.
well, it's like reach down and throw a fart up in the air in whatever lands is the explanation that they have. If and you guys know that I'm
I hope
doing
that it wins Coin of the Year.
It
well.
is a
It's a
beautiful
beautiful
coin.
It
coin,
is.
and
And
if
that's
There's
you
what I'm
no
look,
doubt
saying.
about that. It's a
if
beautiful
In
coin.
their
if
preparation to make this coin, they obviously used techniques that they don't use for general circulation coins.
Yeah.
so, if you go back through and you look, and I'll put this link in there as well. There's some other coins in here. Let me change this for you. Um, there are other coins in the coin of the year that are actually pretty good looking.
Yeah, from other.
I really like the Canadian piece here. I like the outcropping. Let me zoom that out just a little bit. It's going to be pretty small, but I like the design elements of the rim
Mhm.
or the ring around the bimetallic
Bimetallic.
coin, right?
Mhm.
I really like the general design. It's very clean. Uh, there's some really beautiful coins. This coin was really trippy. This is a French 200 euro. I'm not sure how it's supposed to be used. I'm sure it's probably just a collector's piece, but interesting kind of coin. Makes me wonder if you open it up.
All right. The mint doesn't say that that is a depiction of liberty. The mint flat out says the obverse is a bristlecone pine. It's the oldest living organism on Earth.
Hmm.
So I don't think it's supposed to be. I think the liberty above it is what depicts liberty. I don't think they're meaning
Hey,
this to look like Lady Liberty.
Well, in
thanks,
in
Chappie.
that series, all of the coins prior to those had a depiction of liberty in some way, shape, or
Right,
form.
right.
Yep.
I'm just saying their own description doesn't say anything about it being a depiction of liberty in,
But correct me if I'm wrong,
pine.
but isn't it a requirement of the law, according to the Coin Act, that liberty is represented on the coin?
I'm
Shit,
not
I don't.
sure. I'd have to read the whole act.
Well, no,
I don't
because
know.
and that came out when they did the 1792 Coin Act. Actually, I think there was one uh, prior to that. But the 1792 Coin Act, authorization of the mint, authorization of the first coinage, as well as the first dollar coin. And then again, in every one of those, if I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that it is a requirement, there's a requirement on there that there has to be a depiction of liberty,
It
and
it
then
doesn't.
say
It
again.
says in the description, it says the design has to be created to honor symbols of liberty. So obviously, they think this tree, being so long lived, is a
That's
symbol
my
of
point.
liberty.
How does that represent liberty? So,
Well,
um,
it says symbols of liberty. It doesn't say liberty. It's Lady Liberty herself.
right,
Right.
but
Um,
when we
Symbol of liberty. How that's the
yeah,
whole
that's
thing.
exactly yeah,
How
it's
is
the
that
exact
like
same thing.
I,
So,
I think it's the long life. The liberty will always be around. This tree will always be around.
well, I don't know
interesting?
about you, but if you look at the age of the standard age of the population in China, which is communist, they don't have liberty and they live longer than we do. So, I don't. It's a stretch to me
Yeah.
because
Well,
there's not really. I mean, like, what is the depiction there? What
I
does it
think it
mean?
gives them a wide range of flexibility. They could put a can of spam on there,
Yoxnav, trees aren't
and
liberty. I cut them down all the time.
well, that and uh, but spam. If you're talking about longevity, is there anything better? I would buy a spam gold coin.
Or a Twinkie.
Or yeah, there you go.
Yeah, so
But I think
again,
that's what they're supposed
I
to
love the
be.
design of the tree. I just don't get how it represents liberty, other than the fact that it's there. Now, the same thing with the bucking bronco. Now, I get that one a little bit better because they were free range roving animals, right? They were free. Um, and it doesn't matter if you capture and you break a pony, one of the Broncos. Um, it always will be those Mustangs, right? That's kind of the American icon, the West, the horse. I get the image of the Mustang. I get that. That one, it makes sense to me. The tree doesn't. Um, so when you think about liberty and free, I don't get the tree because it doesn't matter where or what situation the tree is. It's a tree. Yeah, I get
I think that
longevity, but
that its depiction is because it says right here that the designs represent what liberty means to each of us, individually as Americans or collectively as a nation. And then it says the obverse design of the 2023 American Liberty coin shows a bristlenose pine,
Mm-hmm.
a species native to California, Nevada, and Utah. It is thought to be the oldest living organisms on Earth, living up to 5,000 years. Bristlecone pines grow in places where other plants cannot, and often the species is the first to repopulate land after cataclysmic changes, such as a lava runoff or a glacier runoff. So I think it is uh, the perseverance to survive
yeah,
and to
see,
push
that's what Azure
forward.
just put in the chat is the perseverance. Um, but is perseverance liberty?
It just says it doesn't have to be liberty. It has to be symbolic towards what liberty might mean to somebody or collectively as the nation. It doesn't actually have to depict liberty itself.
And this is not a coin. This is a commemorative bullion, right? This
It
is
is a
technic.
gold, silver,
No,
metal.
the gold is the coin. The silver one's a metal.
Yeah, it's in the American Liberty Gold Coin Silver Medal program.
Yeah. I have the silver version.
The presence of liberty on a coin is required by law, while mythical figures used to represent the coins featured today.
But that's just
And
the word liberty that's required by law. That's why the penny has it or the cent has it. All the coins have liberty, and they don't have a picture of liberty.
it's not the word liberty. It's the depiction on the obverse of the coin. Mythical
Okay,
figures were used to represent liberty today. The coin's presidents are the depiction of liberty. So I don't like the presidents on the coins either.
right. Well,
I think
that's what
that
they say.
yeah.
It has to do with meaning, and uh, it's like a paradox of what liberty could mean to somebody, and it doesn't have to mean it to everybody. Uh, which would be longevity, strength, the ability to come back, the ability to succeed when others can't or other things can't. I think that's where uh, this is going with the tree.
They should put a Twinkie on it then.
There, that too, or spam. That's what I was saying.
Well, and so there's a
I
thing on the
vote
U.S.
Twinkie.
Mint. There's a thing on the U.S. Mint talking about the evolution of liberty. I'm going to put that in here. And again, when we talk about this, um,
In the description I read was actually on the U.S. Mint also. So you
yeah,
know.
yeah, and again, and it's probably we're all probably looking at the exact same thing. I understand the like I said, there's certain ones that I understand, but when I think about liberty, and you guys know that I'm doing the video series on symbolizing U.S. coins. What do the different things mean? What did the Frisian hat mean? What did the shield stand for?
Do you know that the Phrygian hat um, came about the came about 1,200 years after the original cap? There was a cap before the Phrygian hat, Phrygian cap.
It's the one that started in Frisia.
No, that's the
Is there?
Phrygian hat.
There's one
That
before
that
that.
came 1,200 years after the original cap, though.
Oh, where's the original?
So it was. Oh gosh.
That's
Okay.
interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah. I just watched a thing about it. Go ahead, talk. I'll find it and tell you.
Yeah. So when I look, and again, I've got these coins up here right now that you can see on the screen, which are early Liberty. Um, I understand some of these. Now, I like the statuesque figure of Liberty. I like the seated Liberty design. You know, my favorite designer's Gobrecht, so I really enjoyed that. Hey, Cranky Stacker, what's up? The Pilus cap.
Yes.
All right. I mean, look at the Indian head sent.
Yes.
That's a depiction of Lady Liberty, not an Indian. Which a lot of people don't realize that because she's got feathers instead of the spikes.
Yeah, and again, there are some of these that I'm just like, I get it. Um, I understand what they're doing. It's just there's something in this. Um, when they started putting uh, like the Sacagawea, which I can't stand the Susan B. I collect them because you can get 1,000 of them for nothing.
Well, but that goes back to the tree. They were symbolic of events that happened in our country's history.
So those I understand because they fought for or they provided. Like Sacagawea was the one who guided, Lewis and Clark. She helped them to reach that Northwest Passage, to get through to find, that the Oregon coast. I understand the Native American representing the early aspect of our nation. I get that, right? Yeah. And again, when we look at this now, I really like this representation of the gold Lady Liberty. I get that. I understand the premise of that. That makes sense. I understand the Bronco. I don't get the tree. And there are other coins like this that I don't disagree with it. I'll be very clear about that. It's not that I disagree with it. I just don't understand why
how they related to liberty.
Yeah,
that line that I read, it actually gives them they can do whatever they want. Basically, it gives them creative
license.
What's the word I'm looking for?
License.
Yeah, to do anything.
Yeah.
You've got the bucking bronco. You're going to overcome huge challenges by riding this bucking bronco.
That was just ugly.
With this bucking bronco,
tree, you persevere.
I want to tell you what drives me nuts about this design.
Who's African American, and you're overcoming challenges. Everything's about overcoming or persevering.
The thing I don't like about this is they should have left the sun out.
Yeah,
Yeah, the sun does. The sun
It ruins it.
it's very like Tex-Mex. That's the only way I can. That's the best way I can describe it. You know, it's very Art
Tex-Mex.
Deco, I guess, or huh?
You said Tex-Mex. It's very Tex-Mex.
Tex-Mex. I
Yeah,
don't know. Like it just doesn't fit to me. It's
yeah. Actually, that sun would have
yeah,
fit behind the tree better.
I
probably.
agree. Now, but again, when you look at the Britannia Liberty dual combo, I can't stand that reverse. Um, I would rather see King Chuck on the opposite side than
King Chuck.
the other one, which he may not be around for long.
Like I say, I do got to say that the relief and the just the overall quality of the dye preparation on those coins is outstanding.
Yeah.
Oh, so again, I'm not talking about the artistry. I'm not
I'm
talking
not even
about the
talking about the
design.
artistry. I'm talking about the manufacturing
Yeah.
quality. They actually, like I say, coins lately don't. They're not great. I mean, they have dumbed down to get more production, and I understand why they do that too. Um, like we were talking about the penny and the nickel. Why wouldn't they spend to do a better design on this and that? Because they already lose money on those coins. So they're going to do something as simple as possible to get as many coins from the dies without there being time, the press time being down, and all that other stuff.
Yeah.
Even though it's probably insignificant money in comparison to the big picture.
Now I do love the eagle that's on the back of that one
It's
with
great.
with
It's
the
great.
Bronco. The but have you know what I'm the one I'm talking about with the
Yes.
on the reverse the Bronco. I do love the eagle's head. It's beautiful. Um, but yeah, I just can't. I just can't get. Yeah, I don't know. I just don't like it.
Yeah, the
Now
other one,
the 2019 Liberty. I love that one. I have that one. I love that one.
I'm
It's
trying to
it's
figure out
very it's
where they are.
beautiful and like in hand too. It's very like high relief looking and it's pretty. But
And that was the 2021 Liberty, right?
which one? The one that I like? I like the 2019 one.
The 2019.
Yeah.
And what's the this one?
Let me see. What do you? I have to go back to YouTube to see what I'm
Is it
looking
the
at.
one with the eagle looking down?
That one. Yes. I really, really like that one.
Yeah, that's
And
beautiful.
yeah, and the silver is really,
I
really
even like
pretty.
the depiction of Liberty on that one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's it in silver. It looks beautiful.
Yeah, see, that's a
I don't
really
I
good
don't have a
looking.
gold one, but the silver one is beautiful. I do have that one.
I don't know what happened there. Anyone know about the flowing hair gold and silver coins coming on the 15th? They're not.
Yes, I'm so excited for
Yeah,
that.
they're metals,
Well, the gold one's a coin, the silver one's a metal.
and that's going to be.
I'm only getting the silver, obviously. Hopefully.
I might get the 10th ounce gold.
I'm kind of hoping that it becomes like a yearly thing that they do like a classic design um, every year. I'm kind of hoping for that. Starting with the flowing hair. It's going to be the 223rd anniversary, I think, of the flowing hair
It's this
in
coin right here.
20. Yeah, that's so pretty. It's going to be such a neat looking coin
That is neat.
and metal. Yeah, it's really cool. Even though I think that so many, when that flowing hair design came out, people hated it.
Oh, in 1794.
They hated it.
Yep.
Yes, the hair was very spaghetti looking,
Unruly.
weird, and
Yep. But so when we talk about the symbology of the hair, it's loose, it's unbridled, it was free, right? That was the representation of liberty at the time, which was, her hair wasn't up, it wasn't constrained to order, it was, um, it was nice. Now, there's some
It's
affectionate
free.
names of the heraldic eagle, the sea
the
chicken, or
chicken.
yeah.
Yeah, that's not the best representation of an eagle that I've ever seen.
But that is the 1794.
Yeah.
Sure.
That's the
Mhm.
exact same layout, the exact same structure.
A
Um,
seagull.
and it's got the 15 stars representing each of the states that were in the Union at that time. And so, again, they got the laurel wreath representing victory and freedom, power, right? So I understand the symbology of everything on this coin. I get the historical figure. I get the historical precedence of this coin. I get the purpose
The
behind it.
ripoff.
I don't. I still don't get that tree. I just don't. Um,
You're better off not spending too much time on it. Just
Yeah.
picking a reason why it's there, because ultimately that's the reason why it's there.
Just love it
well,
for the beauty of it because
Yeah,
it is a pretty
it's there
coin,
for the
a
time,
pretty
long
metal.
lasting perseverance, all this other stuff,
Yeah.
whatever you want to say. It's there because it's strong.
all right. Good
Another
morning,
rip off.
Rocky Mountain
How can the
Bear.
U.S. Mint rip off a U.S. Mint design? Explain that one, Azure. How does the U.S. Mint rip off a U.S. Mint design? Oh, you mean it's a rip off at $104? I actually think so. They raised the price of it, but it's one of those that they didn't raise as much as the other ones that they raised the price of.
Yeah, a
Um,
lot of
Um,
their stuff they sell, it's like I don't believe that they can sell it. I mean, it
no,
automatically
well, yeah.
depreciates by the time it hits your mailbox.
yeah, I think in this particular case, I think there's going to be so many people that try to pick this up, and it depends if they're going to do what the Mint has been famous for doing, which is we're going to do a run of 200,000, and then it becomes a run of 490,000.
Well, they don't have a limit. I don't think there's any mintage limit or product limit.
So
I
that's
don't think
really going
they.
to hurt the collectability of this.
I think it's going to be collectible just because people love it. I think it's one of those that people will buy just because they really. I think people aren't going to buy it as like an investment coin or one that they hope that's going to go up in cost or whatever. I think that people are just going to buy it just because it's just a classic design and they love it. That's all. I think they're
Yeah.
going to buy it for their own collection to have. Those are I think that's the consumer that's going to be buying this. Does that make you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm
I'm
not
excited about it.
sure.
I am excited about it. I think that this is one thing that the US Mint actually listened to collectors about for a while. That people have been begging for a classic design to come back other than like the gold
And there's
ones
so
that they're
much
putting out.
opportunity
Yeah.
to make
So
classic design coins. That's what I
Mhm.
was saying. It would be so easy to throw a million Mercury dimes
Mhm.
made at the San Francisco or something like that into the general population and just do like they did with the quarters. And I mean,
Something. Yep.
yeah, it would
Mhm.
be. Could you imagine the frenzy for that stuff?
Mhm.
And you could just continue doing it every year or 2 years and never do the same thing twice. You could always do, and it would not be that expensive.
Eric, they could do an intentional minting error too.
That too.
I mean,
Well, there's an
there are some
actual
really
story.
cool possibilities that they could
There's there,
do.
there's an actual story. You can Google it about the 95 and 95D double dies.
I know.
They were a project.
Yep.
The U.S. Mint wanted to see if they could be made still, and they
Yeah.
told the die shops to do it, and they did it, and they just sent the coins out in circulation.
Yep.
I mean, they said it was purposefully done. Now, there's no proof of that,
I
but
think they
there's
were playing around with the single squeeze
that.
and
Well,
you know,
it has come out
farting
that not
around and
everything is single squeeze. I
mhm.
mean, the larger the die, the less likely it is to be able to do it in a single squeeze.
Well, because they probably were testing to see what would happen if they didn't anneal the dies in between hubbings.
Yeah.
Something like that. They were playing around something because that was the whole point of the single squeeze, not having to anneal the dies and take all that time to,
Right. But they
temper
realize
them and everything else in between hubbing. So they just decided, well, let's try this single squeeze thing. And
there's an article out there too about the single squeeze method on half-dollar dies.
hmm
Um, and it was like 2018 before they actually got them all to go with single squeeze. Um,
and I still don't think they're doing it. So
oh, over the
I
last
mean,
something, like I said, something has changed in the last couple of years for
yeah.
sure. And it
hmm
might not even be the equipment, even though I do think it's the equipment. It could be the person operating the equipment. The one guy retires, uh, you know, there's all sorts of, and plus they prove you get double dies anyways just through uh, it going in at an angle, or things don't
Yep.
necessarily um, go straight,
Yeah, they
and that's why you get the class
snap
nines.
or yeah.
Single squeeze. All right. Sometime after 1995.
Right.
Uh,
That's why I think that they were playing around
and
with the
actually, it says
95.
quarters didn't even use the single squeeze method till 97.
Right.
99 is half dollars are added to the single squeeze. Um, the old hubbing equipment is used to make silver Susan B. Anthony dollars. So a couple nice double dies are uh, made from Susan B. Anthony's, and that's because the old hubbing equipment is used for that. I got a dog that needs in. But I had read something
And then it'll
also
need out very shortly.
about it not being uncommon for them to do multiple squeezes. They're not going to waste the die because it didn't squeeze properly. That's what this was all about in the first
Yeah,
place.
that's
These
normal,
are
Robert Bruce. That is normal.
So,
To have a little five.
is there anybody in chat who doesn't understand what we're talking about when we talk about single or double squeeze?
And I think the dies in the early 1900s, me and Chuck were talking about this. It's quite possible some of those dies were squeezed, 6 times in between. And like I say, the larger the coin, the harder it is to get it in one squeeze.
Good morning, Steve.
What's up, Steve?
So dime dies would be the easiest one to get in one squeeze.
Kevin Hawthorne, good day, sir. Hope you're doing well. So, there was something that was said by Rocky Mountain Bear just a few minutes ago regarding, and again, I'm monitoring both chats, that it's cheaper than trying to find a 1794 flowing hair. If you really enjoy the pattern, again, people spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars on a silver bullion piece just because it's pretty. So I'm not going to knock $104 for an ounce of silver because I've seen people who spend three, four, $500, or people who have done those Oh, what were the mint box things that they did where they were spending $1,000 to get a coin that was worth 90?
Oh, not the vault
The
box
hot
things,
bulk
right?
box or hot box or whatever they were.
There's a new one
Ultra
coming out from
breaks,
CAC now too.
Yeah,
ultra
so
breaks, and all that crap.
yeah, I can understand why somebody would want to do it. And again, collectability,
Man.
right, is different. If you're a stacker, that doesn't make any sense. If you're a collector, you look at it and go, is this something I would want? Now, my point as yours is exactly the same thing. I think that the no mintage limit crushes that. If they did a low mintage limit, I think these would be great. I think there would be a lot, but they can just print more. And I
A
think
lot
that,
more of their products would become collectible if there was mintage limits on everything. I'm talking proof sets, mint sets,
yeah.
everything.
Um,
It'd be more collectible if they put limitations on it, and then they could add more products to circumvent the issue that they're having. You know, like the bags or the rolls of quarters. You have what is it, a $50,000 palatainer? So it's 200,000 quarters in the palatainer.
Robert Bruce, yes, it's normal. It's normal for all the denominations, the new denominations to have 01, 05, 10, 20, in tiny little on the front and the back. Yes,
You
that's
talking
normal.
about
Sorry.
currency?
Yeah, he's been
Yeah.
trying to somebody answer. He's just never noticed that all the little 05s and 20 are on the, you know.
That had something to do with copiers not being able to pick that up.
Yeah.
I agree, Azure. Well, we need, but here's the thing. When you look at CAC, it's the CACC. It's not the same as the grading company. Um, we only have like one person.
CCAC.
Yeah,
CCAC.
CCAC.
Yeah. Okay.
CCAC. Yeah.
I thought it was CACC.
Citizens Coinage Advisory Committee. Something like that.
For some reason, I thought it was um, the CACC, but
CCAC.
Community College of Allegheny County. Nope, that's not the
No.
same one. I'm like, that's not right.
That's not right.
I'm gonna have to do CAC coin. Um, so they do have a panel, but the problem is that they're not numismatic oriented. Um, they have people that are on the panel. They have a position that is, but Paula was talking about this before. They make recommendations and they're like, yeah, whatever. I don't, um, we need somebody at the mint who really understands how to get not just the younger population interested in collecting coins, but get the people who are actually making the money and spending money on the coins to want to buy those coins.
But we also got to remember what is their actual true mission statement.
To make money, to be profitable.
Ultimately, it's not to lose money. That's the
Yeah.
actual mission statement: is don't lose money. But is there something within our government? And this isn't political, one side or the other. This is more of a global thing. Are they trying to get rid of currency and coins and everything else? That might be why they're not doing stuff like we want them to do. It makes it easier for them just to phase everything out that way. But that's what I'm saying. There's so much they could do, and
Yeah.
they could make money on this stuff if they wanted to. It could be an actual money making enterprise. And
Well, if they need to start doing something to bring more interest, younger people into the hobby.
exactly, and the quarter
Because
program did it because let's say to a kid, $20 is $20, man.
well, and you get a kid interested in the hobby, and it's very the odds that that kid's parents are going to start buying that kid mint products
That too. Well,
is
Tanner
pretty
Scott,
high.
he's a young
So,
kid. This would be a great question to ask him. What got him involved in coins? And I'll bet you there's a good chance that he says that W quarter program.
yeah.
Uh, that attracted the young kids I know. I've got my neighbor's son is on this, and I keep telling him, you're wasting your time, but hey, he has fun. And he does look at the new quarters for like the die cracks, and he looks for cuds, but he's on this quest to find an 82D copper cent, small date copper cent. And because one was found right near his house like a year and a half, 2 years ago. And the W quarter program got him involved in coins, and he does collect coins. He just doesn't collect them like a lot of people. Like, he doesn't have the money to go to the coin shop and buy coins. So any coin that's in his collection is something that's ran through his hands.
Yeah, it's also a great way to get kids who who have no interest in history interested in history.
That's right. That right, and it teaches them valuable skills in life
Hmm.
too. It
Skills.
teaches them patience, perseverance. I mean, I know people that
Yeah,
have looked for certain coins their whole life and never found them,
but they still look.
and they still look.
Yep.
Yeah,
Because
Ida.
it gives them pleasure. I'm that guy.
that's
I mean,
me.
that's me too. I've looked, but I do got to say, I have started to buy some of them now, um, because well, chance to find an uncirculated copy of what I'm looking for is growing slimmer and slimmer every day. Zinc coins
Mhm.
they're deteriorating. So that's why I bought the 83p and the 84p doubled dies. But I can tell you, there ain't many people that have searched more 83 or 84p Lincoln cents than I have.
Azure Blue, so I actually thought about like applying or whatever for the CCAC. The problem with that is that it's a paid position and I am not allowed. I'm not allowed to have a job. I really couldn't hold one anyway because I never know.
You don't know
Anyway,
whether
I'm
it's going
not
to be
going to get
full
into
time
my
or
medical.
part
I'm not going to get into my medical
time. Right.
history,
Yeah.
but I am disabled for a reason.
Right.
I am disabled for a reason, so it's not just that I can't. It's not just that I I don't I can't have a job, but I can't have a job.
Understand totally.
See, that was
Yeah.
one of the things that was
Too many
nice
people
about
judge books by their covers.
when I
Yeah.
got my disability rating, because of what mine is for.
Hmm.
I don't have the unemployability clause.
Yeah.
So
Most
I'm
military
definitely.
disability doesn't, do they?
yeah, a
Yeah.
lot of
I'm
it does.
definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have unemployability.
Yeah, a lot of
Okay.
it does. And
Yeah. I don't know
depending
how that
upon
works.
depending upon what type you have, and if anybody's
Because I
interested in
am not
knowing more about
employable.
that, I can break that down, because I teach people about um, Title 34, Chapter C, which is the disability clause and VA structure. We teach people about that all the
Hmm.
time. But
I know within the military
unemployability is
now.
a real thing, and it there's a lot of
Yeah.
people because of that that could still do other small time jobs that are absolutely unable to do so,
Yeah.
because it'll crush their benefit.
Yeah. I know
So
Well,
that.
it's not. If listen, I would much rather be working than not be
yeah,
working.
Most
Um,
people would that are on disability. Most
I'm
people
just
don't go on
not.
disability not to work. They go on disability because they can't be
Yeah,
gainful.
yeah. I'm not employable because I don't. Because there are week. There are times where I am on my back, flat on my back
Right.
for days. So, and I don't know when it's going to happen, and
You
I don't
never
have an
do. You
alarm.
never do.
So and so I have this Kaneka position, this state rep position, but that's voluntary, and I
That
can do it.
and
I can do it on my own time, and when
you won't
I'm
have a
able
lot
to.
of action though. I mean, the
Yeah,
chances
I
of
mean,
you actually answering 10 or 20 questions a year are
yeah,
going to be
well,
low.
but I'm hoping to be more involved than a lot of the state reps are. I would like to be able to do some lectures at schools. Um, I would I would probably target like fifth, sixth grade
Yeah, they'd
kids.
probably love it if you go to a local coin show.
And I would like to do that also.
Yeah,
So,
you'd be good at that.
um,
You should do the fun show because the guy that did the fun show this year, he was not a pleasant person to be around.
well, I would love to be able to do that, but the thing is, so Ken was telling me that I need to get my foot in the door first before,
Yeah, that's
before they're willing to send me to like,
what I
big
encountered,
shows like that. So,
not with Kaneka, but with other 501c3s, is there's a lot of old Indian chiefs that are really calling the shots,
hmm
and I believe Kaneka is the same way.
it is, it is,
Uh, there's a lot of good old boys that don't even participate or don't do anything, but their word means everything.
yeah.
So
But
And
fortunately,
that's not good for the hobby
I've
either.
got an in with a couple of them.
Yeah,
yeah.
that's not good.
Oh, like I say, I went last year and I went in and I talked and I don't remember what the guy's name, but he has this like fedora hat.
That's what you said.
He's
Yeah.
really nice. He was there, but he was busy talking to somebody else. Then I talked to this one guy and he snapped. I said, "Hey, I just stopped by to say hi." He goes, "Why would you do that? Are you a member?"
Uh,
And I says, "Yeah, I've been a member for like most of the last 30 years." He
so
goes,
he's
he
one
goes,
of the
"Oh, okay,
they are pushing for us to push memberships,
yeah."
but he's taking it to an extreme. You got to bring them in first before you know what I
Well,
mean?
they
You just
shouldn't ask people to
sell
stop
the
by the table
product.
and say hi if they don't actually want to say hi.
Well, not
Right.
only that, but you're not going to capture people who are brand
Mm-mm.
new by being an ignorant ass.
Right.
No,
That's what he
You're
was.
not.
He was just being an ass.
Yeah. You need to be like, hey, thanks for stopping by. Are you new? Outstanding. Have you
Yeah.
heard about our
Well, the one guy
program?
that was talking, he
Right.
kind
Yeah.
of looked up at me, waved, and I says, "Eh," and I walked away.
yeah.
And
No, I would love to do that. I would love to do that. Like we in Tulsa, we had our live coin Q&A. We had our tables, and we had that was what we were hoping was that we would get a lot of people over that would ask us questions and we
yeah,
could,
you don't
answer
get
their
that many.
questions and help them out. Well, most of the people that we had this year they already knew us and they were already
Right.
subscribers of ours and stuff like that. And
And that
we
was my point. I was going to say their table. It's not like people were busting over to get onto their table.
and
There was
that's too
me
bad.
and somebody else. And then
They
last year
should.
when I saw them, it was me, Brian Allen, and Chuck talking to the
Mm-hmm.
guy, and the other guy wasn't talking to nobody. He was there, but he was like sitting back in the back,
Mm,
and we were talking to the one fella, and it was very pleasurable. I mean, it was a great experience. But this one, it was just like, man, if he does that to everybody, it's not a great experience at all. He's not going to get new membership.
mm-mm.
No, and the the attention to the attention to detail that the younger generation has is like if you lose them, they'll ghost you. They're done with you.
Well,
Um,
that and there's so many free resources now. A lot of kids don't join clubs anymore.
why do I
Yeah.
need you? Yeah.
Yeah, why do I need you? I can go on YouTube or I can go on Facebook or I can do this and that to do the same thing, basically, even though it's not the same.
Yeah.
Uh, I'm actually shocked that Kaneka still sends a magazine for the actual price. That it doesn't cost much to become a member. It's
Mm-mm.
actually pretty good value because most clubs have long done away with printed magazines because you don't need them. You can look at it on your phone.
Yeah,
You
I
just
love
need a
the
PDF
Aeroscope.
viewer.
I really like the Aeroscope.
I
Yeah,
sit
and
down and look at my ANA whenever it comes in. I sit down and I'll read that thing cover to cover. I'll just sit down and relax and grab a cup of coffee and review it. And I enjoy. I sit in front of a computer all day long. Sometimes I like to be away from the computer, just looking at paper. You know what I
I'll be
mean?
right back. I'm gonna go grab some more coffee.
I
No.
was an
Grab me
ANA
some while
member.
you're out.
I will rejoin. I'm not right now. My membership has lapsed. But I like that they offer one with no magazine. I'm one of these people that I used to be in a bunch of clubs, and I had way too many magazines laying around the house, and I see value in them, and there's no value in keeping them. You should just toss them, you know. Uh, and I had too much of that stuff, so I do like that. That if you remember, you can go in and look at all the PDFs, and that way you don't have stuff laying around your house that
So
you don't really.
Yoxnav, yeah, it's not about the younger generation having social media. I mean, good grief, that's what we're doing right now. Um, what it's about is the attention span and the getting. How do you get people engaged?
Well, and
Um,
that's another thing.
right.
He's not wrong. Uh, there's so much the way news is. We used to get what 3 hours of news a day when we were young, and it was either very regionalized or very nationalized. There was
6 and
nothing in
10.
between.
Yep, 6 and 10,
Yeah,
maybe five, 6 and 10, if you caught the
and
early news. Yeah.
now it's 24 hours a day.
Yep, and it's
If
constant.
somebody breaks wind in the Capitol, you hear about it. You get a notification on your telephone.
Yeah.
Um,
Um, but there's
so that
something.
I mean that causes people to forget what's going on.
Well, there's something
Uh,
called alert fatigue too. So a
yeah.
lot of times,
Well, that
like,
I don't look at any, and this is terrible. You get the silver alerts and the amber alerts and all this. I have them turned off on my phone because my phone would just sit there and ring and ring and ring and ring. There's a missing kid in Jacksonville. There's a missing kid in Orlando. There's a missing kid here. There's a missing kid here. There's a missing elderly person here. There's missing elderly person here. I it was just constant. It was like literally 20, 30, 40 a day.
well, yeah, it's
And
alert
that was
fatigue.
exactly what it is.
Um,
Alert fatigue. So all my
yep,
alerts are turned off.
and that's exactly why certain things happen in medical settings that cause error or issues,
Yeah.
because there's you have to determine what is important enough to actually signify an alert. Um, but
Well, I
not
understand when
everything
a
can
kid goes
be
missing,
important.
the first
Now,
two
don't get me
hours is
wrong. I'm
very
not
important.
knocking the silver alerts
Yeah.
not being important or amber alerts. They absolutely are.
But
But
I don't even leave my house hardly. So
we
I'm
get
not the
stuff
guy that's
because we're
getting it.
so close to the border.
Yeah.
Anybody that they think they might be heading towards the border, it doesn't matter if it's Arkansas, Kansas, Louisiana, whatever. We'll get notification for multi-states because
Yeah.
our proximity to the border.
That in
Right? We're
some
only
states are
two and
like
a half, 3 hours away.
in like in a group. They all say, well, we're going to do this and we're going to do this and we'll all do it together because it'll save money. Plus, we'll have a wider range of area.
Hey, EMR, have a good one, brother. Take care.
Yeah. CAMR.
We'll see you
So
later,
yeah,
brother.
I mean, there's a lot of reasons, but kids are very good at navigating that stuff. Young people are. Uh, like me, the older I get, I used to be a computer whiz. Not so much anymore. I could care less about software or anything like that. I don't try to. I like what I like, you know. Uh, and the only time I change is when I'm forced to change.
Well, you and I talk about computer stuff all the time.
Not
And
me.
having having 30 or 40 years worth of history, I mean, I remember, my old Tandy, um, and, sitting there playing, where in the world is Carmen San Diego? And,
Yeah,
the frame rate going as it moved across
yeah.
the
God,
screen.
I can remember T.I. Sinclair was my first one.
Now, see, I remember the TI, but we did. I didn't own one. It was one that a buddy of mine had. Um, his parents were always on top of things, so when something new came out, they were the ones that spent $2,500 in the
But there was
'80s
actually
for
no games. If you
flat
wanted
screen.
games, you had to buy a magazine and actually type everything in on a cassette.
Yep,
You
five
use
and
what
a
was
half
called
inch
base.
floppy.
No, there was no floppies. It was a cassette player,
Oh,
and you had to type everything in. And then, of course, you'd try running it. You'd spend days. I can remember trying to get a Frogger type game to play and spending literally
Frogger, yes.
2 weeks typing this in. And I run it, and it said syntax error.
and you had to go back through code and code and
You got to
code. And,
start
yeah.
right at the beginning and go through. It took me 6 weeks before that thing played because I found you hit a semicolon instead of a colon.
And they didn't
or
have debug
put
commands back then.
a space slash. They didn't have a debug command back then. No.
Yeah, so it's not like you could go back through and do. I remember playing. It was a poker game where you had to. We had a disc, so you had to code it and put it on a disc, and then you
Yeah.
could put the disc in.
But then you
Um,
had an operating system, so you did have the debug commands and all that. It would run it
yeah,
right to where it stopped.
but yeah, I remember playing some of those, and you would start the computer, you would load the program, you go grab some snacks or some chips or grab you an apple or something, and then you'd come back downstairs and wait for another 5 or 6 minutes while it continued to load. Um, yeah, that's the Oregon Trail game.
Yeah,
I
I can
remember that.
remember a
Fun
friend of
stuff.
mine went to Michigan State and he come over. He was going for computer sciences and he like shows me the ANSI commands. Oh, I can make like change the color of my text. This is the coolest thing ever. He goes, "You want to see something cool?" He says, "You got a modem?" And I said, "Sure." And I think it was like a 2400 baud modem. And we plug it in and he dials a number and it was the internet. But it was the internet being built. So it was literally a black screen with a bunch of dots moving around on it. And you would walk and you would try to get into where there was another dot and then you could talk to somebody. Kind of. It was like, wow, this is the coolest thing ever. And within 6 months, there was CompuServe and all these other internet providers. But I can remember getting on the internet when it was just a basic free, we'll call it like a bulletin board,
Yeah.
because it was being developed on some defense computer and satellite or
Oh,
something
the
like
old
that.
BBS systems.
No, it was. That's how we got. I mean, that's what I compared it to, because he's like, oh, I got the phone number, and this is going to be like the next big thing, and all that. And he was right. It was huge, but at that time, it was literally a black screen with white dots moving around on it.
I
No
remember
rhyme or
watching an
reason.
interview with David Bowie because he was David Bowie. A lot of people don't realize David Bowie was very technologically oriented, and he was like, "We can't fathom what the internet's going to be. We can't. We don't. You can't fathom what we see now. The ability to talk to somebody, the ability to communicate with somebody who's in a different part of the world within minutes. It wasn't within seconds then; it was within minutes. Um, he's like, but we have no idea the capabilities that are going to exist if the kids knew what we had 10 years
Can you
ago to where we
imagine
have now, and that was
if
early 80s. Um,
if there's world conflict? Can you imagine? I can tell you the first thing everybody goes, oh, they're going to do this. The first thing they're going to do is take out the communication cables. And that means all the internet, all the telephones, all the cell phones, everything's going to go down around the world. Can you
Oh yeah,
imagine
yeah.
people
unless
that
you
are under 20
happen
years old not having electricity and all
unless you
that
happen
stuff?
to live near somewhere that has the local one of the local supercomputers, which
Right,
I
right.
know
Well,
where
there'll be
two of them in the
localized
United States
information, but
are.
it won't be the World Wide Web. It'll be the Austin, Texas web.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Uh, so your area of communication, if you took the World Wide Web away, if you took Facebook away from some people, that would throw them into a area where they'd have to go get counseling, or they should get counseling.
They should get
Uh,
counseling before that happens.
right, but I'm just saying, this is, and you don't hear much about it. It's a serious implication of what could happen to society if some of this stuff was just to not be here tomorrow. Basically, you have to be over 40 years old to actually know what to do.
Yeah, it's
Uh,
the conventional warfare as we know it will not be how the next World War is fought.
nope.
Now, it will exist, it will happen, but I firmly believe, and I've said this a number of times, I firmly believe that conventional warfare will only be the deterrent. It'll only be the distractor from what actually is going to go down. they will utilize conventional warfare to take out those things that we're talking about. Um, they'll target water systems. They will target the
Well, they
electrical
don't
and
even have
banking
to do that. They're
grids.
all computerized now.
Yep. So,
So if you
um,
take all the computerized stuff away, they don't work.
yeah, because if you think of
And that
conventional
happened in
warfare now, the first
the
thing they do is they
2003.
take out their power,
Oh, I
shut
But
think
down.
the first thing they do is turn us against each other.
well, they don't have
I
to.
Well,
We
think
do
that's
that
the first
ourselves.
step.
yeah,
We're
but
there
that's
right now.
already.
Yeah, they're not doing it. We're
We're
doing
there
it for
right
our own
now.
self. It's just like the people that thought that people were putting computer chips in because they want to track them. It's like, dude, you pay 35 or $100 a month to be tracked. They don't have to put nothing in your body. You're doing it for free, and you're
Mhm.
paying them money.
Well, yeah, and that dude who talking about
Yeah,
putting chips in eagles is
we are there.
he's a loon anyway. But
Well, I'm just saying chips in anything. It's like they don't have to. The chips are already there. You paid cash for them. They didn't sneak them in anywhere. You paid for them. I
yeah.
mean, look at your TV, your smart TV, your TV remote controls. If you're talking in a room, there's a little red light flashing half the time because it's listening to everything you say. And that's why you open Facebook up and it says, "Oh, you're looking for a new car. Here's all the car deals in your area."
Oh, yeah, my wife and I were joking about that because we were talking about that with my daughter, and she was like, "Oh, you guys and your conspiracy theories," and I was like, "Let's talk about something that you want." And she was like what?" And I was like, "Just name something." She goes, "Well, I want to go check out this art school and I want to find out stuff about this artist and whatever." And I'm like, "Cool. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to pull up your Instagram, I want you to pull up your Facebook, and I want you to scroll to the first two ads you see." And she was like, "It's the school." And I'm like, "It's the school."
That's right.
Don't tell me they're not listening. How is
No,
it
they
that you've
listen.
never searched for that on this particular device, yet the
I mean,
moment
the
you pick it up,
NSA,
it's the ad? Oh no, 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 no. Yeah,
the
they
NSA's listened to every word we've said since 9/11. They don't
Patriot
deny
Act,
it.
baby.
Yeah, they don't deny it. They just don't care what we're saying. They
No,
care for certain things.
they have alerts and flags for keywords and
Right.
phrases and stuff, but yeah. What's up, Dimebag? How you doing, brother? Yeah, and if anybody thinks that pictures that they send on Instagram and then delete them later, you think they're gone? They're not gone.
Oh, anything you post
Yeah.
online is never gone.
Anything that's it doesn't matter if it's on your phone, it's on a server somewhere. The moment
Well,
you
even if
take
it's
it,
not, even if you delete
yeah,
it, if it
it's
was on the
still
if it was on the internet yesterday, there is a backup of the internet from yesterday. It's still there.
yep. There was a discussion by Google, and I might get some of the details slightly wrong on this, but basically what their indication was, it would cost us way more money to properly delete all the data than to store it.
Absolutely.
Well, all you
Absolutely.
have to do is look at what happened January 6th and how they found those people that were just standing there, how they found them in their homes and stuff. They knew everything about them and
That's
they
because they were
found them.
talking on their cell phones. They were texting each other. They didn't have
Yep.
to even look.
Yep. I mean that to me was like a real eye opener. I mean it was very scary. I didn't realize that, it just was a real eye opener to
But
me.
yet they can't identify the Zodiac killer.
Yeah, yeah, they couldn't find the person that put those
Actually, I
pipe
think they,
bombs
they
by the
think they found him
DNC
now, even
or
though he's dead.
RNC, but whatever.
I heard that about 2 weeks ago that they think they do believe they actually identified who he was.
Well, it just was, yeah. I mean, can you imagine sitting at your breakfast table with your family and you get a knock on your door?
Well,
Like,
when my son joined the military, it was kind of like that. He says you might get a visit from the FBI, and I did.
oh, I'm not talking, well,
Oh, I'm just saying. He told
but
him where I
they,
was, but
so,
I'm like, they ain't gonna come. Why would they have? Well, they have to make sure
no,
I'm not
they,
Oh,
coming.
depending on the clearance that he needed, they
Right.
absolutely do. Yep. Mhm.
So
and they
there's
did.
a guy that has the
Yeah.
same name as I do, and
Oh, I got a good story about that.
he was U.S. Army. I was obviously in the Navy. So anybody who knows anything about me knows I love the Navy ships, and I support men and women across all the services. And I got a telephone call, and I was like, "Hi, sir, how are you?" And I'm like, "Great." He's like, "Do you have a minute?" And I was like, "Sure." And he's like, "This is so and so from the FBI." And I was like, "Oh, okay. I'm not sure what this is in regard to, but okay, cool, no problem." He's like, "I'd like to talk to you. Are you home?" And I said, "I am." And he's like, "Dunk, dunk, dunk." I was like, and I opened my apartment, and I was like, "How you doing?" And he goes, "Oh, no, you're not the right person."
Huh?
And I looked at him, and I was like, "This is in regard to the book that was published about Iraq and Afghanistan." And he's like, "Have you read it?" And I said, "No." As soon as I saw it, I knew it violated terms of disclosure, and I just left it alone. And now I was working for the Air Force at the time, and I did report it to my security manager. Um, but he came in and we talked about it. He's like, "I'm really glad you didn't read it." He said because as an employee at that time, for the government, um, you would have been violating your security terms. And I was like, "No, I recognize that really quickly because of just the general overview of stuff." And so yeah, they will just show up. They will just
Yeah, I
appear.
bought a me and my
So
wife got a plane ticket one yeah, it's about 2008 maybe 2007,
copy run. I'll check it in a minute.
and we buy our plane tickets online and everything, and I go to print our boarding passes because at that point it wasn't electronic check-in. You had to print your boarding pass from home on your printer. And I went to print my boarding pass, and it wouldn't let me print my boarding pass. It said that I had to see the attendant at the counter.
Hmm.
And I'm like, oh, all right. Well, what the hell? So I go and
You're on the
uh,
no-fly list.
I was on the no-fly list. And she takes my ID and she says, from now on, when you book your tickets, use your full and complete name, not a middle initial.
Mhm.
And I says, well, why is that? She says, because somebody with your exact name with middle initial is on the no-fly list.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so now I have to use my complete name, middle name, and everything when I book. So yeah, it was very.
Mhm.
But I'm like, what? I'm the no-fly list. What did
What
I
did I
do?
do?
And of course, they don't tell you what you did.
Oh no, they can't. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, most people who are on the no-fly list know what they did.
Well, right. And I'm just
Yeah.
like, I'm flabbergasted. It's like shit. At that point, I was flying all the time.
Yeah, my Yoxnav, my one of my buddies, I did the same thing. He was a neighbor. I lived next to him for 10 years, and I put him, and he got a knock on his door for a security investigation, and he was like, "Why didn't you call me?" And I was like, "Were you doing something bad?" He's like, "No." I'm like, "What? I just was a security investigation." But yeah, they show up for security checks. They show up. I've been called for friends of mine that still
That
work
was
for
the only one
DMV.
I ever had to deal with, and he was. It literally was very, very.
15
It
minutes
was
max.
not even.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was. And he was apologetic to the whole thing. He just says, "Hey, we got to do it, and we do it to a very high percentage." He says, "It's all that I do all day. Is I just drive from recruit house to recruit house, basically." Uh, they just want to make sure that uh, basically, is this where he lived? Is this did he go to
Yeah. Is he
it
on
was
the up
more
and up?
about him than it was about me.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You know, and it was just basically verifying the information that he provided them, which was address, driver. Does he have a driver's license? Has he ever been in trouble? Stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, he
stuff
won't
you
even
probably
tell
don't
me
want
what
to
he
know what he
does.
does.
Yeah. That's not uncommon, Yoxnav. Um, a lot of people don't talk about their positions when they're in jobs like that. So
Yeah, because I don't think my son needs real high clearance. for what he does. Of course, I don't know. I mean, as far as I know, he repairs airplanes and helicopters.
So, well, for Pedro, Homeland Security is one that I did an interview for about, man, I've worked at my job for almost 15 years. So it's been probably, probably 15, 16 years ago. And I told a joke during my interview and is immediately released from the interview. They didn't appreciate that at all. They don't laugh. They don't smile. uh, it was very staunch. It was like I don't think
Yeah,
I
you
could
didn't
work
want to
there.
work with them anyways. Their
I
underwear was too
Yeah, I
tight.
don't think I could work there. I understand what they do is very important, but still, I mean, like live a little. It was, but yeah. Um, and I immediately just was like, yeah, I gotta go. Thank you. So yeah, they didn't take kindly. And the thing that was funny is the joke. You guys have heard of my the guy catches his arm on fire and is waving it around and gets arrested. Um, I won't say the punchline because I'll get a strike.
You get
Um,
demonetized.
yeah, I'll get demonetized for it. But again, it's just one of those, and they were like, "Well, where'd you hear about this?" And I mean, it was like the fact that it just totally was lost on them. They were
Yeah.
trying to figure out immediately how I got intel on a situation that happened. So it was like, okay, yeah, it's guys, it was a joke. I apologize. There was obviously no humor
Brown
here.
sugar.
So
Yeah, we had a video on copper coins deleted for some reason. Uh, it was an unspecific reason, and I don't know what it was. One of the reveals. I'm
Hmm.
sure we said something, I'm sure it was probably a music copyright violation. That's all I can think of. It's not there
normally
anymore.
music, normally if you go to your settings and you look at the um, copyright, there's a second tab. You can click on that and it'll tell you what all they're there for. You can go back and look at that. Normal, they have to give you a reason why it's been removed.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. I don't know. It's Chuck's channel. I don't. I was like I was working over the coins that we found in it, and I'm like, man, this. I don't even know why this coin was pulled out because there's nothing on it.
Hmm.
And
Interesting.
I wanted to look, and I'm like, oh, that ain't good. So, but I know that we had one a long time ago,
Well, if it
and
was
he
during
sang some music.
if if it was during the COVID thing, I mean, they were removing videos
Well,
left
this
and
was
right
during the
for
COVID, but it
just
got removed
saying
because he
just
sang
saying
some
COVID
Beatles
or
song or something like that. And
hmm.
it said he was only allowed to sing 11 seconds or 20 seconds or something like that.
Wait, Chuck sang a song?
He did.
Wow.
Well, it started out, somebody said something, but he didn't sing, but he kept referencing it and talking the lyrics. It's still copyright infringement.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's so silly.
but he edited it out and it was fine. They let him
Yeah.
put the video back up.
Well, now they do video sharing, so I've gotten notification that my video will just be shared with whomever if you opt into that. So it stays up. Now they just like if you make $10 from that, $2 goes to the company that did it, or
Yeah.
a dollar, whatever. Off subject, but do you have any tattoos from your time in the Far East? I do not. Um, I made my grandfather a promise that unless I achieve something significant, I would never tattoo my body. Um,
Hmm.
it was something that he frowned on severely, and I made a promise to him. The only thing that I have as far as a tattoo is on my left calf, and it's when I completed my third Ironman. Um, for somebody who has major lung issues, it was a massive achievement, and it's the only thing that I'll ever get tattooed on my body, just because I made my grandfather a promise. So um, I had other stuff done that he frowned on when I got back from the military, but
Did you get your nipple pierced?
I did.
Dude,
You want to hear something bad about that? So
sure.
clearly we were out having fun and playing pool and having a few drinks. And my buddy's like, "Well, I'm going to go get it done." I was like, "Oh yeah, I don't know." Well, the power of ETOH took on its prowess that it normally does, and so I ended up having it done.
And he walked out and didn't have it done, right?
No, he had both of his done, but the very next morning, I've only been in one fire aboard a ship, and it was in an engine room, and I was what they called a lead nozzleman. So I was manning the actual nozzle in front of a team of 5 people, and you have OBA packs, Scott packs, and they're oxygen packs. You have a mask, and the straps went right over the nipple. And by the time I was done, I had a blood stain about the size of a small saucer because it had rubbed and was bleeding through all the way through my uniform.
Tell everybody it was just strawberry milk.
Right.
No, um, they
I'm
kept looking.
lactating.
Uh, my chief corpsman, who was a godsend because you weren't supposed to do that stuff, he indicated that there was some plastic on the strap container, and it had dug in, and that's what caused the issue. Because they wanted a report, they wanted to find out what was going on, and he's like, "I'm not going to turn you in, but you're going to have to,
Well, and it would have
tape
turned
that
you
or
in.
remove it or do whatever."
The first question after that would have been, was there alcohol involved?
Oh, he didn't even have to ask.
Well, yeah, I just know I went
He
on
didn't even
vacation
have
with
to ask.
my son.
Now there was no so if you're ever involved in an incident like that, they will breathalyze you and stuff like that. So it had been more than 12 hours. So I
Right.
was well within the limits, and I never drank on duty. I never
No,
did any of
he
that.
was on
Right.
leave and he cut
Um,
his foot and had to go to
yeah.
the medic because he was staying in Key West on the base in Key West. And you can actually, if you're in the armed services, you can rent there. It's very reasonable to rent there. And you get a house. And he goes and he cuts his foot. And the first question, while they're stitching his foot up, the doctor says, "Was there alcohol involved in this?" And he goes, "Absolutely not." He says, "I didn't think so." And just kept it. He goes, "That was the only question that was asked." And then at the end, he goes, "I have to ask everybody that because you're in Key West." He goes, they want to know. And he goes, "Well, if I would have said, yeah, what would have been the problem?" He said, "Yeah, you probably would have been reprimanded for being drunk."
Yeah,
So
yeah, that was one of those things where
he's
alcohol
like,
was
"No
related to
captain's
the
mad at this
decision to
guy."
do it. And I took it out after about 4 years. Um, I wouldn't recommend it to anybody, but yeah, it was definitely one of those things. But I learned my lesson really, really quickly.
Here, I got my ear pierced when I was like 16, and I thought I was living on the edge.
I pierced my own.
You were born at Key West. All right.
Alcohol wasn't involved in that one. It was a dare.
Yeah, I go every year.
I've never been.
Oh, it's
I've only
Would
been
beautiful.
love
there
to go.
once.
Love the place. It's
We
one of it.
had
It's one of a kind.
You just went not too long ago, right?
I go every Thanksgiving.
Oh, Thanksgiving. Where did you just go a couple months ago? Didn't you
Uh,
go somewhere
I went
tropical?
to Dalton, Georgia.
Hmm.
to hang out
And then
with Chuck
before
and them.
Dalton, Georgia, I went to
You were in
um,
North Carolina, weren't you?
that was when I went to Dalton,
Oh, okay.
North Carolina, and Dalton. Where else have I went?
Did you
I
go on a
went to Fort
cruise or
Myers Beach a
something?
bunch
I
Homestead.
don't know. What
lately.
am I thinking?
I've been to the
Homestead. They
beach
show
a few
through my
times.
bikini top and people stare. Well, but the thing is that I won't tell anybody not to do anything. I just won't recommend it. Um, the one I will tell people not to do because a lot of people don't realize how bad it can be is your tongue. That is one of the worst things that you can
Oh,
pierce.
and it is so gross to look at
Yeah.
when somebody is healing
I
that. Oh
Um,
gosh, it's just
I can't do
horrible.
any of it.
because
Of course,
the
I'm 60 years old. Nobody wants to see,
yeah,
man boobs with the piercing.
yeah most people just don't want to see man boobs. Period.
Right.
Moobs.
Moves.
Moves.
Hey, kid of mine, what's going on? People who are just coming in are like, what the hell are they talking about?
New
Tis
commemorative coin.
tis the chit chat. Yeah, that was something that I had showed. We were talking about this. We got squirreled a long time ago, but I pulled this image up, which is something else that was something that this is not how you garner interest in.
Oh,
What a
jeez.
crap choice. I mean, just bad choice. There were
Bad.
the little privy mark would have been so much nicer.
Well,
They could still do.
it
There's
was
another one.
really busy. And
They could put 1,000,000 privy marks. Make
yep,
2 dies with a privy mark.
yeah. I've been saying that for a long
Put it
time.
in. Put it in with a punch.
Yep.
You don't even have to put it in the mat. Put it in with the punch. Make a bunch of coins. Do the same thing.
Hmm.
Yeah, so I just look at some of the opportunities that they had, and I'll pull this up real
Missed
quick.
opportunities. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
So there's the privy mark. Now this one is really busy, but I think this one on the left hand side would have been nicer. Um,
I like the dual date. I do like the dual date. But the thing is I was looking when they were first talking about this, they were talking about a complete obverse and reverse
Right.
redesign
And
yeah,
isn't
for
the
all
Roosevelt
the
going to be a total redesign?
yeah.
all the circulating coinage.
Yeah. 2 dates with
And
a
then
tilde
for
in the center is dumb.
some reason with the cent and the nickel, they decided to only do the dual date on the obverse, and that's it. So yeah, it was just not it was very disappointing.
So just as a reminder here, I've got this highlighted on the screen. This is a 1 year thing. So
Yeah.
if you're
Yep.
deciding to collect these, this is probably one of the only time that I would recommend um, getting a bag or coins from the mint.
Wonder if the mint's
Well,
going
I
to sell
mean,
them
it's
in
but
rolls.
if it I mean, so they did the same thing with the bicentennial coins, and people are still like, "Oh, those bicentennial coins and everything," but they're really not worth anything. I mean, even though it was cool and it was a
Well,
one
and
year
also you got to
thing,
remember the bicentennials. Most of the coins were produced for 2 years.
75 and 76.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Except for the
So,
penny, everything else was just 76. I
yep.
guess nickel also.
Well, and it'll probably be the same thing with 2026. They'll probably start producing them next year.
They have to have some special deal to put a date of date a different date than the actual date on the coin. There has to be some sort of waiver through Congress because there was for the bicentennial coin. That's why they made them in 75 and 76. That's
Yeah,
what people always say. Do they start minting next year's coins like in late December? They do not. They start January 1st, usually, minting the year's coins. Now, they probably do start die preparation and stuff like that before, but they can't mint coins until the year comes up.
Well, there's a number of items throughout history that where they've made coins that were done in the year prior and then the year following. Um, Good example of
Well,
that was
64, when they went from silver coinage, people don't realize the
yeah, the
reason that
SMS.
64 has so many coins is they were making 1964 coins up into 67
Yep.
to
yeah
get rid of all the silver planchets they had laying around.
Yep.
yeah. So I mean, there's situations where they've done that. So 1776, the bicentennial, right? They ran those 75, 76. There's another one that was being talked about. I think Sean was talking about another coin that was being run long after the fact, or it might have been a bill that was being printed
Oh,
long
that's
after.
every year.
Yeah.
I
But
mean,
bills, they only change the date on a bill when the treasury
yeah,
guy changes.
yeah.
So, and that's one thing I wish I knew a little bit more about. But I need to see if I can get have a session on currency and get somebody like Sean.
I'm kind of ignorant on currency myself.
Yeah,
Good luck with that. I can't barely get him up on Mondays.
well, Shannon's good with currency too, right?
Shannon is taking a real interest in currency, so he knows quite a bit.
I'll have to
Um,
invite Shannon up.
you could reach out to Sam from Kingdom Currency. He's usually pretty willing to come up on people's panels if he has time.
So he's another one that would fall well within this timeline of me hosting a channel in which I don't say anything.
Yeah. Oh yeah, don't plan on talking at all if Sam's up. Yeah.
Yeah, but
Are
he
you
knows
saying
his
we
stuff,
talk too
man.
much?
He knows his stuff. No, I'm not saying that. So this is one thing that's always been kind of a standing joke with us. I I am from an old school when it comes to understanding uh, conversation, and that is, if the conversation's good, shut up and let it happen. Doesn't matter what it's about. If the conversation's good, just let it go. People are more concerned with having a good conversation or listening to a good conversation than they are hearing me talk. So if I can have people up that know what they're talking about it, and people are enjoying it, I have zero issue sitting here monitoring chat, pulling up pictures, doing stuff like that, being the facilitator. I have zero issue with that because I have gotten feedback from a number of people in chat who have said, this is a really good stream. I can't tell you exactly why, but I really enjoyed it. And if you go back and look at it, it's because the conversation was good.
Oh, and we're kind of normal human beings, I think.
Well, we just
Some
talk
people
about
that do this
whatever,
stuff are
right?
just kind of
If
weird.
there's a question in chat, we talk about the question in chat. We let chat squirrel us. It doesn't matter. We're not. We're about the conversation. We're talking about the hobby. This is exactly what I want to have in a channel. Which is, I want people to feel like they have a place to come and listen and talk and voice their opinion and do whatever. So I would love to have Sam up. I just don't know currency. I don't.
Me either, and I have no interest in it. So
Well, so
I like to spend it.
one of the
My
things that
wife,
you
when
were
she
they were
worked,
talking
used to
about the
look
other
for every
day.
dollar.
Say again, Eric.
My wife, she used, and she goes, I don't know what I'm looking for. And I told her a couple things to look for. She would always just look for star notes and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, I look at my bills and I
And
look
she
for
looked at
fancy serial
everything that ran
numbers.
through her company.
I know enough to know if I see something that it's something good.
Right.
I know some currency errors and I know fancy serial numbers and I know just enough
Well, just like
because I've
everything
had to
else,
learn some stuff, but
bills
Hey,
have a lot of fly poop also.
folks,
yes.
I want to point you to what Coach said. You all have integrity and character, and that's what makes it good for me. I can't tell you a better
Aw.
comment, especially
Mhm.
and Eric, you didn't serve, but for Paul and I, whose primary objective is integrity. Um, I can't tell you, and Eric, I know you speak for the integrity piece as well, but
Yes.
that's what all three of us are about, and so I really appreciate that.
Yeah,
I
I
can't think
actually
of a
did
higher comment.
enlist, but then I got my practice wife pregnant, and at the time, the
I
service
just
would not allow you to join the service if I would have been in basic, I could have stayed.
yeah.
But since I hadn't even reported yet and took the oath, I couldn't go. The Carl Levin ended up having to make sign some paper where I couldn't go, and my mom was
Practice,
very happy that I
practice
didn't go,
wife, man.
even though it was the Coast Guard.
That one's gonna stick with me all day long now. That's
What do you want
hilarious.
out now?
But anyway,
So
thank you, Coach. I appreciate that. That's see, it's those little comments, those little tidbits that really make me appreciate the
Yeah, I'm
subscribers and
actually
members
from a
to watch.
military family. Um, my son's in the military, so
Yeah, Mike for Democracy.
uncles, grandparents, all them were.
That's very well stated. Integrity is one thing that we own. It costs us nothing, but it can only be yours. Yeah, it's a great comment. Um, Monday, you guys were talking about the note that was found that had the twos.
Yes, we had a mismatched serial number, which in and of itself is really cool to find.
However,
However, it was also a 2013 B star note, a duplicate star note.
Oh, nice.
yeah,
Yeah,
so it had a whole lot of stuff going for it.
yeah, it
Yeah,
Yeah,
was
that's not fly proof
really
there.
cool.
yeah, like really cool. And I'll be honest with you, that thing would have slipped right through my hands.
It
Yeah.
would have slipped through my
Yeah,
hands.
I
I
wouldn't have
pay
noticed
very
it.
little attention. Like I said, my wife pays attention to it.
Happy birthday,
Mhm.
Jenny.
And if she sees something
Happy
that she
birthday,
thinks is
Jenny.
interesting, she'll hand it to me and I'll go on the computer and check it out. Besides that, that's the most. The only bill thing that ever interested me was those what the heck are they called? Um,
Fractionals?
no, I actually do like fractional currency, but the autographs on them, coin
Oh,
Q&A had
Oh, the
the short
short
snorter.
snorters.
short snorters. Yeah,
Mhm.
they were interesting.
Did you watched our stream with about the
Yeah.
short snorters, right?
Oh yeah, I like
Yeah.
that one, and the one about the bills.
Yeah.
That guy blew my mind because he was like doing calculations in his head that like NASA needs a supercomputer for.
Kingdom currency, that's
That's
Sam.
yeah, it's
And
Yeah.
he was
Sam.
just spitting it out, and I was just going, "Wow, my
Yep.
brain's going to explode." I think I actually texted you in the middle of that and said, "Man, my brain's going to blow
I
up."
don't think he breathed. I don't think he took a breath the entire
Yeah, because
He's like,
Adam goes, "What about this serial number right here?" And he's like, well,
Yeah,
no,
that's
no.
gonna
But he goes,
run
"Oh, that can only happen 17 times in a billion coins." And I'm like,
yeah.
"What?"
yeah, he it's funny because he's like he's before stream. I'm sure he's like, okay,
Yeah.
today we're going to be talking about this. We're going to,
Yeah.
but but
No
he's
punctuation, no
extremely
breath.
knowledgeable. There's no
Oh
denying
yeah.
that. He knows his trade. So,
He gets
but yeah,
very passionate.
I can reach out to Sam and have him up. I'll have to have you make the acquaintance because I don't know him personally, but that would be fun. Is there enough interest in currency to have him up? Are there enough
Even if
people that would
there's
like to do
not,
that?
I mean, I think there is general
It can
interest.
build interest.
Um, like I'm not interested, but I would watch it just because I'm ignorant in the subject. Will I become a currency collector? Most likely I won't.
Nope, not me.
Uh, but it it might make me look more.
But I'm not interested in everything numismatic either. So,
Well, actually, I was a very specific collector. When I first started collecting,
hmm
I collected repunched mint marks. That's it. Not doubled dice, not anything else. I just looked for RPMs.
you and Art Ring.
And that's still my main focus. I mean, but I come across so many doubled dice now that um, I started collecting them. So I've got quite a collection of them now.
Yeah.
But even now, I'm even like if I see silver and I like it, I buy it. If I see a coin I like I used to have a registry set of Franklin halves that got stolen. And I'm
Wow.
half playing with the idea of starting that again, but not getting a registry set, just getting nice coins to put in a Dansko album because I like Franklin's.
Yeah. I like Franklin's too.
Bifrost is in
I
the
just like to
chat.
learn. I like to learn about lots of different
That's
things.
me. That was like the Zerbe dollar. I had no
Mhm.
clue. I'd never heard of it. And I've heard of some pretty obscure stuff over the years.
Mhm.
That was interesting. And then he says, "You want to talk about it?" It's like, well, I've known about it for about 3 minutes now. Sure.
Yeah, I mean, there's really not a whole lot to learn about it. It's mostly learning about him
And the story.
and
The
yeah, and the
story is the interesting
story
part. And with everything, the story is usually the interesting part. It's actually the
the
after effect is usually we know what the after effect is.
the interesting thing to
Yeah.
me about the whole thing was that he was the a person that literally could walk into the U.S. Mint and say, "Hey,
And
can
knowing
you strike some of these for me?"
that
You
you
know,
couldn't, if you walked into the U.S. Mint and said, "Hey," you'd be ushered out by gunpoint.
yeah, uh huh. Yeah, it was pretty cool. So, but yeah, if you guys missed it and you let me see if I can put it in there again. If you get a chance, um, watch that Numis talk by Russ
Oh,
Beta.
I'm going to. My wife goes out of town for a week to go to work, and I'll have a lot of time, and
Yeah,
I'll
it's
put it.
not real long. In fact, while you're in there, take a look at their all of their things that they have on their playlists and
Oh, I
I'm
do.
sure.
I look at the actual list. I
Hmm.
actually watch a lot of those channels here and there, but it's stuff that I can only take one or two at a time, and then I've got to change
Yeah,
genre. Um,
no, I gotcha. Like Aaron Burke has a ancients podcast, ancient coin podcast, and I can only watch that in short little bursts because I
right.
he loses it lose like yeah
Well,
he loses me.
that's like the numismatic when they have the where
The
it's just
portal.
audio.
Mm-hmm.
I have a really I'll play that in the background, like when I'm doing something, chores around the house or something like that. If I'm like watching TV, that ain't on. I make it through about 2 minutes of it, and I got to have, even if like the one I like is Fred Weinberg on that Numismatics, and you see all these old icon of the era and variety collectors
Yes,
in the audience.
Alan Herbert and
Yeah,
all of them in
those
there.
people,
Yep.
all of them are in the
Yeah,
in. I love stuff like that.
me too.
Yeah, even there's an Alan Herbert where he's doing a presentation at the ANA show.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good one.
Yeah, I love
That,
all
yeah,
that stuff. I have some pictures that Ken sent me, all those JT Stanton photographs, and there's
yeah.
photos in there of some of those people. Um,
Well, that was like me buying a
and
bunch of those coins that I know Alan Herbert attributed him
yeah,
or his assistant, and you can actually tell the difference, and because they're always on a 3x5 card with like a rubber
hmm,
stamp of a Lincoln cent, and then there's notes written on it, and you can tell when it's his notes or her notes
right. Yeah, that was
because the
I
printing
sent you
is
those
different.
pictures of that. And,
Yeah,
hmm.
but there's something else. Would you call it mania or media or something like that? A lot of stuff I buy coins for the holder, not for the coin,
Oh,
because
Exonumia?
yeah,
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 I just bought a. Oh, I wish I could show you, but I can't.
I mean, I
I
got
could,
three
but I
Lonesome
won't.
John
But I
coins.
just bought an old. Have you heard of ANICS? It is
No,
not affiliated with Annex.
no, the
It
one
was
that
it it was
was a
only
really
around for
cool
about
one,
a year.
photo
But
grade, I think it's called.
yeah, it was kind of like that. They took photos
Yeah,
of the coin and then they put it in like a little its own little holder, but they printed out like the grade. They graded the obverse and reverse separately. It was only around for a year in 1990. But I just bought a Franklin that's
I buy stuff like that, and it's not for the coin. Usually, the
mhm.
coin is shite,
Yeah.
and
Well, this is not too bad, but they graded it. It's way over graded, but
yeah, I've got one at the last three shows, three Lonesome John holders.
oh,
One of
I
them is actually
want
pretty good,
to.
broadstruck, but the rest of them are just little fly poop errors.
Yeah, I'd love
He
to
sold a
get one
lot
of
of them.
his.
Uh, and now I'm looking for. there's a guy, and a matter of fact, I want to say Newman Numismatics is where the video is about the BIE cents.
Uh-huh.
And there used to be the BIE club. Well, this guy was
Yeah, Gene Cohen.
he had a BIE. You can find coins in his holders
Mm-hmm.
because they were actually very marketable back in the late 60s, early 70s.
Yep. Gene Cohen has a whole book on it.
And there's a great video on Newman Numismatics for that one too. BIE collector.
Yeah, the BIE. So it was in California.
Yep. Oh, well, all these. I want to say that all these videos
the
were at
Aerorama
the
started.
or at the ANA show that used to be out in Los Angeles.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when Cone and NECA were two separate organizations.
Right. Oh yeah. And most of the big error collectors really didn't. Like I said, there was the BIE club, and then he talks about some sort of die crack club.
The Spike Head.
The spike. Yeah, they used to collect die cracks, and they were very collectible.
Mm-hmm.
So when a lot of people now they say, "Oh, there's no value in them," at one point in history there was, well, not significant value. There was tradable value. So I don't see why there couldn't be now for the real nice ones. But like everything else, there's always bluegills and specks in the paint and stuff like that. So
I'm trying to pull up something on ANICS and I can't find anything on them.
No, you won't.
Well, there's a lot of. I mean,
it was
people
a
don't realize
thing, and it was a 1-year thing, and they just never got off the ground, and
it's like SEGs.
SEGs
was a great trading system.
Pictures. I'll send you pictures. Here, you know what? Let me grab it real quick.
And I believe Larry Briggs started SEGs.
Mm-hmm.
So he could grade his own varieties. And
SEGs made something else.
Holders were beautiful. Have you ever seen a SEGs coin, Frostbyte?
No.
Okay, let me send you pictures here.
I know I just had that. Oh, right here. Oh, they got a couple of them. Nice.
Oops.
Yeah, this was SEGs, and it was a very reliable grading system back in the early or the mid 90s.
Mm-hmm.
And let me turn the light off so you can actually see.
I'll send you a picture of the coin too.
That's the A. There we go. A little better.
Yep.
But it was good. And that's like PCI. Well, you have PCI out there now. PCI back in the 90s was a very reliable coin grading company.
I think Segs is who did the signature series. Isn't Segs the one that did the signature series?
No, PCI.
Or is that PCI? Okay.
Yeah, here, let me look for one of those. I got a couple of those laying around.
Let me send you this. Do you want it on an email or through your phone?
Email's easier.
Oh, shit. Okay.
You can send it to me on my phone.
It's okay. I'll do email.
This box here has it in it, I think.
Oops. Right.
PCI. That's not.
What was the name of the company you're trying to pull up?
Oops. My files and media. Wow.
Not SEGs. What was the other one?
Boop, boop, boop.
PCI.
Attach.
PCI is still in business, but now it's a company that just bought the equipment and they buy hordes of coins. And there's one of the signature series.
There you go. Okay, I sent it to you. There's 3 photos. Yeah, that's the signature. Okay, that's Chuck's.
And then you have this right here. This is when they were really reliable. PCI was.
Mm-hmm.
But the guy that owned PCI died. And then some company bought his machinery and continued PCI. And then the grading, basically they started buying collections. And when you get the later PCI coins, it'll say MS68 and the coin's like an MS63, or it's been cleaned
Yeah.
or something like that. But my ultimate favorite is these holders right here.
Oh, the soapbox.
I love it. Yeah, I
Yeah,
love them.
me too.
And most of these coins are coins you shouldn't have graded.
Right? Okay, I sent you the pictures. Frostbite. I should be in your email.
Yep.
But I mean, it's just fun stuff, that like.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. There's history in it. It's not about so much
Yeah.
about the numismatic value as it is the history of the hobby itself.
Mhm.
Um, I love getting stuff like that. And when I see it, and the people always that when I buy it, they're kind of like, because it's usually in the bargain bins and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And it's just like, hey, I want it for a reason, and it's not because I want the coin.
Here's the that's the Franklin.
That's cool.
But
See,
I
I'd buy
also got the
that.
coin. He's got a picture of the thing that they put the coin in too. They
Yeah. And then there was photograde, and then there's another one. What was the other one? AccuGrade.
AccuGrade. Mhm.
That was another one. And AccuGrade was around in the 80s, where you got a flip, like a Mylar flip, stapled with a card in it,
Oops.
Yep.
with the number typed on it. It was all hand typed on a typewriter and everything.
And there's the coin. Oops, it's not sharing. Hold on. There you go.
Well, that's
Yeah,
just a
that's really
crappy
cool.
picture. Yeah, it's really cool. I mean, it's got the grade down at the bottom, and so yeah, I just
So
thought it
I'm
was
kind of
really
big into
cool.
that kind of stuff, and I don't know why. It's just I buy everything I can get like that.
I paid like $20 for it, so
It's a $20 coin. It's worth
yeah,
$20. Yeah.
I just thought it was really
What is
cool.
it?
It was
63
cool.
proof, or is it MS?
It's Mint State.
You
Yeah,
look
it's
at
a
it.
Denver. It's a Denver.
63P's got a lot of double dies.
It doesn't. It's a Denver, and it didn't have squat. I looked. That was the first thing I did. But it's a nice looking coin, and
That was when
it's
I
just
first got
a
back
cool little
into
thing.
this. I took like a 5-year hiatus where I didn't do anything.
Mhm.
And when I got into it, I had packages that I hadn't opened in 10 years.
Oh my gosh.
And one of them was a package of $50, and they were all double dies.
Oh wow.
And none of them were FS listed when I bought them, and they were all FS listed after I got them.
Oh wow.
It was really cool.
Yeah. Well. Um.
And I bought them for
I
scrap because
don't like the way the cherry picker's guide is headed.
well, it's not headed anywhere. I don't think. I think
No,
they do change things and they do take things out, but
barely.
yeah, they're not really doing a whole lot.
Nope.
And
And the ones that they're adding are garbage.
yeah, well, think of it though. If you look at, and they probably have some sort of algorithm.
Sadly.
Whitman, I'm sure, is big enough to have a computer that can figure out where things are trending.
Hmm.
There's a lot of people that junk is trending because there's a lot of treasure hunters out there that want to get rich real quick.
Yeah, but Eric, the
I
problem
know
is that
that
I don't
71p
I don't
quarter.
think that I don't think that there are many people who are working on it that are really
I don't think there's anybody
in,
working on it.
that are really in touch with what collectors are interested in.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's working on it. Period. I think
Mm,
it's stale.
it's very
Um, but like they took the 71p double die quarter you had on Monday. That's not
yeah,
listed anymore.
I know.
And that's an awesome coin.
Yeah, and very, very scarce.
Yep,
Wow.
absolutely.
Yeah. But there's a lot of spitting eagles.
That's right. Yeah. Or floating roofs or no
They
FGs and
added the
stuff like
spitting
that.
eagles.
Yeah. Well, even though they did take the floating roof out, they still mention it
You
though.
mean the no FG?
No FG with the
Yeah,
floating roof.
yeah.
They said you had to have both for it to count. But the problem is all of them, most of them have FGs on them. You can see FG on them still.
Yeah, we talked about that. Even the
Yeah.
ones that they show on PCGS, you
Yeah.
can see it. So I don't know, but whatever.
But people like to find them, and it excites them to find them. So I'm all for looking for them. Hey, you want to look for them?
Well, I
But
would
don't
rather
expect to.
have that in there than some of the other stuff that they put in this new one that nobody cares about.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. But like the floating roofs, just don't expect to get $50 for your coin. I mean,
Mm.
it's not worth it.
But they will now. See, that's the
That's what
thing.
they expect.
Is that they're touting it now because, oh well, now wait till it's in the cherry pickers, wait till
The
it's in the cherry pickers, and then it'll be worth a lot of
yeah,
money.
the spitting eagle things. It
Yeah.
happened. It's like it's like the Franklin Bugs Bunnies.
Hmm.
They're just not on 55, even though I think it's
Oh no,
55
they
too.
added those.
They added the rest of them.
Yep.
But does the spitting eagle say that it can happen? It happens on almost every date from like the 40s
Yep.
all the way up.
Yep. But they still added it, so whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so we another one we talked about was the quarters with the no P,
Right.
which are just grease dyes. That's it. That's all they are.
But they made it into the book regardless,
But they made it into the book,
which is
and it's just crazy.
why.
You know,
Why
we
do they
tell
do that?
people
What is your theory
I
behind that?
don't know. We tell people all the time, structure grease errors are really have no added value unless they're extreme, right?
You want to
But
know what
then
my
they go,
opinion
well,
is?
that's not true because look at the no P
My
quarter.
opinion is that the pages were generated with AI, and then they were approved by somebody who had no clue what they were approving.
Ugh,
That they were saying, let's look for these trends. What are people
yeah.
finding? People
It
are finding spitting
actually,
eagles.
Eric, that makes a lot of sense.
In
Yeah.
they're finding spitting eagles. Look at Etsy has 8,000 spitting eagles for
And
over
TikTok
$10,000 on
and
it.
yeah, they maybe they got, maybe they put in a search engine and what showed up was these stupid little TikTok things
Yeah.
and
Then they get a proofreader, and the proofreader
yeah.
doesn't know anything about coins. He's there to edit the page.
Or they do know about coins, but they see something that would be easy for them to sell in their own on their
Right.
own things.
And that's goes. You take a good
Whatever.
coin out, you put a crap
Yeah.
coin in. I get it because you're changing it, and you give reason to buy another volume. Um,
Mhm.
like I said, I still haven't. I impulse bought the three book set. It's still sitting in the box on the floor unopened. I probably won't open it. So I'll sell it in 10 years. Unopened mint box of cherry pickers guides.
Well,
I don't
the
know.
thing,
There's so many varieties. Really, all they have to do, they have open resources. All they have to do is open up
There is
Copper
so
Coin,
many
or open up
deserving.
Variety Vista, or open up Wexler, and
There's
look at
so
what
That's what I'm
is
saying.
not
There's so many deserving varieties.
so many, so
Uh,
many.
50D RPM number one,
Yeah,
50D RPM number three. Um,
there's so many,
yeah,
and
it,
they're right there for the picking. But they'd
yeah.
rather put a 5 on the cheek. I don't know, whatever.
yeah, man, that one, I don't get that one. That's to me is almost Richmond quarterish.
Yeah. Well,
Well,
it's all
yeah.
it is hubbed. It's hubbed in debris. That's all it is.
Yeah,
But the problem is
Um,
that this gets people looking at the wrong stuff.
well, it.
but in theory, it does get them looking.
I mean,
And
it's
I've always
cool
said,
looking. I'll give him that. It's
yeah,
cool looking.
what I've always said is once they
But
find something good, like you always hear people, for months. You'll see them post, and it's machine doubling, machine doubling, machine doubling.
Ugh.
And once they find a true double die, searching their coins,
Mhm.
they know. They
Yep.
know
Yeah.
perfectly. So,
Same with like the small and large dates.
so that is my hopefulness through looking for a Richmond dime, that they actually find something really good, and they
Yeah.
go, and it hits them. They go, "Wow, I get it now. I understand."
Yeah, because
Um,
there's varieties on those 66s that they should be
yeah,
looking for as opposed to whatever. But
yep, absolutely.
yeah.
What's our stream tomorrow going to be about? Frostbite.
Same thing it was today, just randomness.
And
Okay.
repeat.
There is one thing I want to talk about. I've got to finish doing some research on it, and then I'll send you and Paula the information on it.
Okay.
I'm
All right,
gonna.
I got to AFK real quick. I got to see what
Well,
time my
I'm
wife's leaving
wrapping
to go to
stuff
work.
up anyway because my wife is home and
Okay.
she's
Yeah, I
made
gotta
breakfast.
go. I will see you guys tomorrow.
I'll
Have
be
a
there.
great day.
So I guess we're calling it.
Well, I'm leaving.
Yeah, I'm calling. I'm calling today. I got it.
All
My
right.
wife's downstairs. She said, "Hey, come downstairs. I've
Bye,
made
all right.
breakfast."
Bye,
See you. See
Frostbyte.
you tomorrow.
All
Bye,
right, we'll talk
everybody
to
in
y'all
chat.
later.
All right. See you tomorrow, guys. Bye.
All right, folks. Well, thank you for hanging out with us today. Appreciate it. And again, we will be here tomorrow doing the same thing. Appreciate you all being here. And again, next week, next Saturday, is the final premiere train. And I went over a little bit today. But next week, I'm going to have a very short stream because Mad Stacker, after 4 years of doing the premiere train, is calling it done. There are about 15 channels that are going to be doing a video, and I'm going to be sending you folks over there. So as I get more details and as they build the schedule, watch my community page because I'll be posting information there. But please go check that out. He's got people from the original 6 that were there that are going to be doing a video. I'm doing a video on Christian Gobrek. And so please go check that out. Go over and watch that again next week. I'll be giving you the details. Watch the community stream, and we'll appreciate you participating in what is the final premiere train, which is kind of sad in its own right. But all right, folks. Well, I will see you tomorrow. Thank you guys for being patient last weekend while I was out. But take care of yourselves. Be well, be blessed, and I will.